Helsing tried for a long time to make contact with Dracula through Mina, but he had cut off his communication with her for the time and left us with no clues. Van Helsing was worried.
Once Dracula reaches his castle, he'll be safe. We must intercept him on the way. But by what road is he going?
It was Mina, my wonderful wife, who divined Dracula's plans by another mental power, sheer reasoning. On a map, she marked in her intuitive answer. Look, Professor, the river Sereth winds all the way from the Black Sea through the Carpathian Mountains and near the Borgo Pass, which is only a short distance from his destination. And Helsing saw the rest.
Obviously, Dracula's coffin is being transported in a riverboat. Good thinking, my girl.
Like a general, he worked out the strategy to capture our wily antagonist before he reached his lair. He paired us up and gave us our assignments.
You and Arthur will chase him upriver by motor launch. Quincy and Dr. Seward will go by horse on an overland route. Mina and I will go to the Borgo Pass by coach. This gives us 3 chances to waylay his coffin in time.
By the morning of October the 31st, we had made all arrangements, and Van Helsing gave us our final encouragement.
Good luck all. May we meet in safety and victory. Godspeed.
From November the 1st to November the 5th, our team continued our part of the chase. Our pair of horsemen rode steadily through high mountain passes, taking every possible shortcut. But in the coach, Mina suddenly stiffened.
Professor,
Dracula has just recontacted my mind. I can feel it.
Then he must be ascertaining our pursuit plans so he can retaliate.
November the 6th. As Mina and Van Helsing stopped to eat, the 3 female vampires who had once almost victimized me played their siren role. They beckoned. Come, Mina. You have Dracula's mark on your throat. You are one of us. Come, come. But Van Helsing recognized Mina's trance and cut a charmed circle with the crucifix in the ground, which saved Mina from their evil lure. The danger was over, and the 3 vampires screamed and drew back from the holy ring. Begone, wretched ones, your master can never claim this victim. With Mina asleep under his hypnotic powers, he left the coach to Castle Dracula. From a direction in my journal, he found the 3 graves of the undead women and drove stakes through their hearts and severed their heads. But Van Helsing had still another purpose in exploring the castle, and that was to find the tomb of Dracula himself. In the chapel where I had found Dracula and struck him with the shovel, Van Helsing placed 3 crucifixes inside all 4 coffins there, and sprigs of wolfsbane all around the edges of the lids. Then he declared,
"The King of Vampires will never rest here again, no matter what the outcome, when we waylay him for the last battle."
From their high perch at the Borgo Pass, Van Helsing and Mina observed all below. With binoculars, he pointed out for Mina Dracula's motor launch landing at the foot of the castle road. Slovak peasants loaded the casket on a wagon and whipped the oxen relentlessly, for they wanted to reach the castle before sunset. With the coming of night, he would regain his awesome powers and would be able to defend our invasion of his lair. The launch transporting Arthur and myself arrived shortly thereafter, only to be met by the band of armed Slovaks. Arthur, a commando at heart, led our attack. "Open fire with the rifles, Jonathan. The beggars have only got swords and knives." Fleeing, the peasants left their horses behind. We quickly mounted 2, and again Arthur led off after the wagon and after Dracula's casket. "Jonathan, we must overtake them while it is yet daylight." 1 hour before sunset, all was coming to a tense, dramatic climax. The Slovaks with the wagon strained to reach the castle. Our horsemen strove to overtake them. At stake were 6 lives, for with the darkness, the casket would open, and out would spring Dracula, ready to wreak his hideous vengeance. A dozen Slovaks guarded the wagon in a grim circle, swords drawn and ready. A pitched battle was 4 men against a dozen, rifles against swords. Quincy Morris took a deep gash from his thigh to his knee and was thrown off his horse. But Helsing, with the cunning of a buccaneer, attacked from an unexpected quarter. The remaining Slovaks and Zgani fled. We had won, but was it in time? We ran toward the wagon on which the casket lay. In another moment, I knew it would be sunset. We will not have time to open the coffin. A great fury arose within me. This monster, who had nearly shattered my mind, who had placed his foul mark on my sweet wife. Nothing could have stopped me. I sprang on the wagon, and from somewhere, great strength flowed into me. I heaved the coffin off the wagon as if it were a toy. "Fiend from hell!" I screamed. Striking the ground, the casket split open like rotten fruit, revealing Dracula's sleeping form. "Now is the time! Hurry!" Van Helsing and Arthur moved forward, but halted at a cry from behind them. Quincy dragged himself up to the wagon, holding the fatal wound with one hand and a long knife with the other. Stop! It is my privilege before I die. I rushed in from the other side with a castaway Slovak sword. And let me finish the job I should have done months ago when I entered the castle of this beast. I teamed up with Quincy. Desperately opening his eyes and glaring his hatred, Dracula tried to stay our hands with his mental forces. With a hypnotic rhythm, we heard him say, "You are powerless, powerless. You cannot move. And in another moment, the sun will sink below the peaks and I will vanish." Sweat beaded on my brow. I seemed paralyzed. Quincy was unable to move. Had Dracula won at last? Then a shadow fell across the foot of Dracula, and as if receiving strength from it, he twisted, trying to worm his whole body into the darkness. His movement broke our spell. I was the first to move, and I kicked him, pinning him back into what sun was left. Quincy then pinned him and slammed his long knife through Dracula's heart and into the native soil beneath the vampire. And I, with both hands, lopped off Dracula's head. "Mina!" And the failing Quincy whispered, "For my life." Van Helsing tossed a silver crucifix on the body and vowed, "For humanity." Then, before our eyes, the one-time battle chief of the Magyars crumbled to dust, as he should have 600 years before. I shall be glad that as long as I live, even in that moment of final dissolution, there was on the face a look of peace, such as I never could have imagined might have rested there. With our heads bowed, Mina covered the face of dead Quincy Morris with her shawl. For hundreds of years, Dracula had ravaged humanity. An undead plague. But now, Dracula is no more.